For great ideas and practical tools you can start using tomorrow to grow your business and separate you from the competition, you've come to the right place. If you're into B2B marketing and sales, then welcome to the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. With over 60 and counting total years in the trenches of businesses small and large, they have a plethora of knowledge and experience that generate you more leads, capture more clients, ring up more sales. Well, doggone it, just make you more money. How about that? Always thought-provoking, yet dubiously entertaining. Please welcome to their respective microphones across 3 time zones, your co-ringmasters, the Dave Loomis, and not the rock star, Steve Miller.
Our thing. This might be a bad episode. Okay.
What? Oh. There's no such thing.
Did I say this might be a bad episode? Hey, everybody.
No, you didn't. Hello.
This is
the best
Steve
episode
Miller.
ever.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Okay, everybody. Yeah. Sorry. Pay no attention to what you just heard. Okay. This is going to be a great episode. This is Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad of marketing gunslinger. Welcome to, I know I'm going to get it. I know I'm going to get it right. Welcome to the B2B marketing and sales.
He stammered a little bit. I heard that.
Hesitated.
I heard that.
I hesitated.
Yeah,
and with me,
it doesn't roll right off the tongue.
With me is my paisan in crime, Mr. David Mayo Loomis, better known as the Voice. Say hello, Mr. Loomis.
Hello, Mr. Loomis.
Ooh, I like that. Rowan and Martin.
Dave Loomis. Yes, exactly. Say hello, Rowan. Hello, Rowan. Oh boy, that's a flashback.
That's right.
Way back, folks.
Yep. And
I was going through family memorabilia the other night while I was watching the Yankees get beat the Cleveland Guardians. Unfortunately,
let's not talk about baseball. Right
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Go ahead and finish that.
Right. Yes. Wow. You've got that was a biggie. So I was going through family memorabilia and I found that my grandfather had attended an event that Joe Kennedy had hosted.
Wow.
And one of the guests was his son, President John F. Kennedy. And the entertainment for the night was Judy Garland.
Oh.
It's this really fancy, I could probably pull it out of the bin behind me because I'm going through the stuff in my office. And it's this very fancy program with you wouldn't believe what they ate for dinner. My God, these people lived it up.
Yeah.
But
of course, 90% of the people that we're talking to right now are going to Judy Garland.
Yeah.
Garland?
And who's Kennedy?
Her name is what? She had a name, Garland.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
And who's called
Dorothy
Judy
in The Wizard of Oz?
There are no Judy anymore.
No one. No, but Judy.
Yeah. So, okay. So, what's that got to do with our topic today?
Our topic is, what's your brand promise?
This probably is one of my favorite topics. I know. I know last time about experiential marketing, I said I love experiential marketing. I really do. But this topic. Because this is the topic. This is the conversation that I have very, very early in a new relationship with a client.
Yeah, the whole podcast could just be every episode. The whole thing could just be called the Brand Promise.
The Brand Promise. Because when you get right down to it, if you don't have a killer branding promise, and if you don't have a way of proving your branding promise, then
forget about it.
Forget about it. Just forget about it. So what are we talking about? Okay, branding promise. Some people might be going, "What the heck are you talking about?" Well, in jargon, in marketing jargon, we would say we're talking about your branding proposition. Okay. I personally, and Dr. Loomis, feel free to respond to this. I personally like to use the phrase branding promise with my clients because that to me is a more emotional phrase, a more emotional thing.
I love it. I use it too, and it's definitely the thing to do. It holds your by doing it. It makes you hold yourself accountable.
Ooh, I like that.
Doesn't it? Because like when you make a promise to somebody, you don't want to break it.
That's right. That's right. I love that. I'm going to steal that. When you think about, I mean, you could also say that it's, it's a slogan, it's a tagline, it's stuff like that, because there are great examples of companies whose branding promise, right up front and center. Just give you a couple of quick examples of branding promises that I just love to death. Okay, so the ones we all know about, okay, like Disneyland, is they call themselves the happiest place on earth. Okay, so that's what they're promising you, is that you are going to come to the happiest place on earth. That's their promise. Yeah. And now everything underneath it, everything walks the talk then.
Yeah. Do you have to have a fancy slogan to have a brand promise?
No, you don't. In fact, I will
just
share
be
with you.
Associated with something.
It doesn't have to be a fancy.
What would you say the branding promise of Volvo automobiles are?
Well, we know it's one word. It's safety.
How do we know that?
They if you're thinking safety, you have to think Volvo. If you think Volvo, you have to think safety.
Right. And, that came about, and I don't know if they've ever used the word promise. Their lawyers probably didn't let them use the word promise. Who knows? But for years and years and years, they've made that a big thing. And, a lot of times in branding and in positioning, you hear the term white space, for example, like if you were to look at your own competitors and you see, where are they positioned, and maybe even try and diagram it on some chart. But the point is, if you have a chance to adjust your positioning or your brand promise, don't go right over on top of and say the exact same thing as a direct competitor that's been in the market for 3 times as long as you. Choose something that's attainable, doable, and is different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Enough.
Now let me back that up by saying, especially in the B2B world, very, very few companies have a branding promise.
Mm-hmm.
Very few. Like I said, we could say Disney. We can say FedEx, which was probably one of the most perfect branding promises in history, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight. Okay. Now they don't use that anymore, but when they did use that, you knew what they were telling you they were going to do for you. Okay. And then they had to back it up. So, but you see, in the B2B world, you do not often hear branding promises from companies.
Mm-hmm.
What you get, what the promises that you get from the vast, dare I say vast one more time, majority of B2B companies is.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of a company called Swagelok?
No, I haven't.
So Swagelok is basically the highest quality, probably most expensive fitting that you can, like, it's a fitting kind of a like very little pipes and things that connect things in machinery. Like their fittings are used in nuclear power plants and all over the place. But a swage is actually a technical term for a way to connect and lock like 2 of these different fittings together. So hence Swagelok. Anyway.
Okay. All right.
I just checked it out because I thought that I'd seen something on this, and they actually have they have it written like they have their warranty, but they say it's a promise as strong as our products, a relentless commitment to quality, and they actually use those words, on their website, in videos, that sort of thing.
A relentless commitment to quality.
Yep.
Okay. Now
They didn't say we're more efficient. They didn't say we're fat. You could connect them faster. They didn't say that they're shinier or more stylish fitting.
No, and the vast majority of these companies are out there, and they're basically saying two primary things and a third thing that's sort of a grayish type of statement. Number one is we have the best quality products. Okay, now this is different than what you're saying. This other company is saying, right? A relentless, say that again, relentless pursuit of quality or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah,
very close to that. Okay?
Commitment.
That's different. Yeah. This one, is that these guys, everybody, and you, I'm talking to you who is listening to this right now. If I go to your website, odds are this is what I'm going to see. It's going to say we have the best quality in the market, and we have the best customer service in the market. And we are fair, and our prices are fair.
Very, very competitive. Oh yeah, everything.
This is so vanilla. Each one of those statements is what I call a vague generality.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that the term quality itself means different things to different people.
So does customer service.
Right.
Who knows? I don't know what people are thinking when I say, "Oh, we have the best customer service." I don't know what they're thinking I'm saying, because we're not using meaningful specifics. So when somebody says, if somebody says to me, the relentless pursuit of quality, of top quality, best quality. Okay, so now they're saying to me, "Oh no, we're going to have the best quality." But see, so now they have to back it up and they have to prove it. Let me share.
Geico says 15 minutes or less can save you 15% or more on your car insurance.
There's a promise. Okay,
that's pretty specific.
It's a pretty specific promise. Do you know the company Serve Pro? They're like Service Master.
I've used Serve Pro.
Do you know what their branding promise is?
Ooh, I think I might have known it at the time, but I don't remember it.
It's one of my favorite of all time. I saw this on the side of a van one time driving by me. I had to follow the guy until he stopped, and I jumped out and took a picture of it. Okay.
Okay, got it.
All right. So what does Serve Pro do?
So I think if we're talking about the same company, they're cleaning up after you have some sort of damage to your house, like a fire, flood or
something like that, right?
Or something happens, and they're going to come in 1-800-SERVE-PRO.
That's right. And you know what their branding promise is? Like it never happened.
Wow, that's really great.
That's a big promise.
I love that. I love that.
That's a big promise. All right. We have a friend of ours who owns the Mazda dealership in Everett, Washington. Friend of ours, and we have bought multiple cars from this guy. Okay, and if you call their offices, the owner. It's the recording of the owner who is calling. You're going to get some kind of voicemail or anything like that. Anyway, but his opening statement is, "Thank you for calling Mazda of Everett, where service sells the second car."
That's great. That's their goal. That's their absolutely.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that great?
There's a personal injury lawyer in Cleveland, and his last name is Misny, and he has a very distinctive look, but he also has sunk millions and gazillion dollars into advertising and billboards and things like that. And he's shown on the billboard, for years, just looking stern and pointing and saying, "We will make them pay."
Ooh.
And so he's done this for years. He has TV commercials, all that kind of thing. Today, I saw a billboard that was so brilliant. Now, I've met this guy too. He's a character and a great guy. actually. And this is wonderful because it actually makes the reader come up with the brand promise, because the billboard has him on it. And he says, "Hello, I'm Misney. You know what I do." And you read it and you're like, what does he do? Oh yeah. He makes you pay. He makes them pay.
Makes them pay.
Makes them pay. Yes, exactly. And so it's not only you're just like, it's not going in one ear.
See, and that's so good because he's forcing a callback
exactly
into your mind. And
it's kind of smart.
That's very
that's a good really, that's like, as my
I love it.
As my daughter would say, hashtag goals, which is, meaning like that's something to strive for, which is your brand promise should be so good that not only everybody knows it, that if you teased them to come up with it, they would answer it in their mind.
They would answer.
They would answer it right. Yeah.
So okay. So what is the point here? Because we're talking about branding promise as being to me, this is a huge thing when it comes to separating yourself from the crowd, being more successful, things like that. But as I said earlier, in the B2B world, very, very few companies make a promise like that, and that sticks in the people's minds. But it also sticks in the people's minds because then when you make a promise like a ServPro or like this attorney you're talking about, okay, that you have to then come up with proof to support your promise. Because if people have never done business with you before, if they've never purchased from you before, as Dan Kennedy says, his big question, the question that you need to be able to answer is, why should I do business with you versus every other opportunity available out there, including just sticking with what I'm already doing or doing nothing? Why should I pick you? So that's where the promise comes in. So you now say, and what do you say? We'll make them pay. That's my promise. So now you have to come up.
You better make them pay.
You have to come up with proof
and show them all the circumstances where here's our track record. This many people came to us. We made them pay, and we made them pay this much.
That's right.
And wow, jaw dropping.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If I went to that guy's website, and if he was like McDonald's, and if I were him, I would have stolen McDonald's thing. Over 1 billion hamburgers served or something like that. If he was able to say, we have now passed, $1 billion. That went to our clients.
So on his website, it has him in a quote that says, "I have been there so many times before, and now I will be there for you and your family. Tim Misney, the man that makes them pay." Registered trademark. Yeah, he registered. That. Yeah, that's why he called me. He called me about getting registered and trademark, and he wanted to use it in all the college sports teams, and sell it to and brand it with college sports, saying, we'll make them pay, like as in the other team and that kind of thing. And
no,
I don't know. That's
that's incongruent.
I know exactly.
You got to be congruent to your.
You do.
You see, and here's here's something about this that is important. Like a new client I'm working with right now, and they are in the manufacturing world, okay, and very expensive products that are custom built, everything like that, really big bucks, okay, and we have come up with a phrase that is real simple. There's nothing fancy. There's nothing fancy about this phrase.
Yeah, that doesn't have to be, your promise does not have to be like some sort of, sort of complicated.
No, cute.
Thing.
It doesn't have to be cute. It doesn't have to be humorous.
Doesn't have to have a pun in it.
It doesn't have to have a pun. I hate puns. Okay. And
I think they're very punny.
Well, you know what? You and Kay are going to get along really, really well because Kay is the pun queen of the world. And and I will tell you what the thing is that we came up with, and the thing we came up with is that and I won't say the whole thing because I don't want to give them away, but they are now basically saying to everybody in the industry, we are your steward. Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
We are your steward. So think of what the word steward means. From my research, from what I've talked to people and everything. Okay, well, let me ask you. Okay, when you hear the word steward, what is a steward?
So I think of it as someone who's going to take care of me and serve me from beginning to end of a process, and make me comfortable, and just whatever I might need, the steward will help me get it. That's what I think of. I haven't looked it up, but that's
I personally, I would add another word in there that to me that really fits into, why. Let's back up here. Okay, why do people do business with you?
Is that a rhetorical question?
No, I'm asking you. Why do people do business with a company? What's the number one reason?
I thought you were asking about me personally.
No.
Oh, okay. Why do people do business with a company?
Yeah.
In general.
What's the number one reason?
They trust that they're
bingo. That's the word. That's the word. Trust. Okay. As we've all heard the phrase, okay, people do business with people they know, with people they like, and people they trust. Okay. Now, I always add there's a fourth one in there that I throw in and nobody else does, but you are welcome to steal
puns. Is it puns? Does it have something to do with puns?
Yeah, it's puns.
No.
You're really close. Okay, there's a fifth one. All right.
Okay.
I also say not only do they do business with people they know, like, and trust, but people they remember.
Yeah, you can't forget.
If they don't remember you, it doesn't matter. But trust.
Who was that person that I knew, liked, and trusts? I forget.
Right. But
I forget.
Trust is the big pillar there. That's the big pillar. So we have to make people. We need people to trust us, right?
So we got to prove to them our brand promise. Yeah, prove it. Prove it, man.
If you talk in vague generalities,
forget it.
Yeah.
But why do you think that B2B companies are not good at articulating or actually coming out with a brand promise? Why do you think that there isn't more of this? Because this seems obvious to you and me, and actually a lot of the best companies really do it. Why do you think that it's so rare?
Because and this is a harsh reality. The vast majority of B2B companies are started by people who know how to do a thing.
Okay.
So, like, for example, in manufacturing, they know how to use a lathe. They know how to use some kind of machine, right? If they're in the construction industry, they know how to put a roof on a house. See, they know how to do this. They know how to do a thing, and they go, I can have my own company. Now, this is what I call the Christian golf pro syndrome.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And what I mean by that is that years ago, I consulted in the Christian bookseller industry.
Okay.
Which basically almost doesn't even exist anymore.
Okay. Yeah. Tyndall House was a publisher.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah. I did a little work with Tyndall
there
House.
are huge
Yeah.
publishers
Yeah.
that are in there.
Oh,
okay?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But here's the issue with the retailers. The issue with the retailers, just like the same thing with golf pros. Okay,
Mhm.
golf. Think about both of these now. Okay,
Golf. Why are you a golf pro? Because you're good at golfing.
because you love to play golf.
Yeah, and
You
you're good
grew
at it.
up and you competed until you
I just
got
can't
your
stop
butt
playing
kicked-
golf.
You got your
And
butt
so
kicked
I'm
by-
gonna get paid for it. You almost made the pros, or maybe you did.
I can't.
but,
I wasn't able to make the pros, but I still want. So I become a golf pro at a local club, country club, or a public course, or a store, or something like that. But you know what? I don't know how to do.
make a brand promise.
I don't know how to run a retail store.
You mean the pro shop?
Yeah, I don't know how to run the pro shop. I don't know how to run the pro shop in the country club, the public course. I don't know how to run a shop at in a mall. I don't know
No,
how.
you weren't trained.
I'm
for
a
that.
golfer. I'm a golfer. Same thing with Christians. And I can't tell you how many people I met, in the industry who came to me and they said, God told me that my mission would be to open a Christian retail store.
Okay.
And I used to say to them, I don't think so. But of course they don't want to hear that.
No.
But I would say, I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think so is because there's a difference between wanting to be you're a Christian who wants to spread the word. Okay. And being a business person who runs a,
right. So back to the B2B. Yeah. Interesting. So back to the B2B.
Exactly right.
The brand promise, what you said, Christian golf course thing. So
most of these people in B2B, that's who they are.
They know how to make a ball bearing, or they know how to fix something, or they
know how to do something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, right.
Mm-hmm.
But
right.
You know what? But business, the number one job in business, and I don't care who they are. And I say this to people all the time. I say, you are not in the golf pro shop industry. You are not in the Christian bookstore industry. You are not in the ball bearing, manufacturing industry. You are in the industry of marketing golf equipment. You are in the business of marketing Christian information, publications, and information.
Yeah. Now that you know how to do it, you actually have to sell it. You're not actually in the business of doing it, because you could do it, great. And if there was nobody to buy it because you didn't find them or explain it right or what have you, then you're dead in the water.
Yeah.
So really what we're doing is marketing things that we create, whether it's a product or service or what have you. And to market things correctly, you need a good marketing person who's not the inventor of the product or service.
Right.
Lawyers are not exactly the best marketers of themselves.
Finance people are not.
For example.
Finance people.
Right, exactly. I mean, professional service people in general, because they're good. They got trained to be that professional, even doctors. I mean, all sorts of things that we could come up with.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but, it's interesting because even though most companies don't have a brand promise that they call that, they don't call it that, and they don't promise it, and so forth. Hidden underneath somewhere is sort of the makings of a brand promise. Usually, if the company has been in business for a while and is successful and so forth, it's for a reason. Sometimes they don't really even know those reasons, and it takes somebody like ourselves or other marketing professionals to just, sit down and ask the right questions to draw it out and to help them figure out, after all these years, it's true. This is really what we're all about. So why don't we just say it in a simple way?
But most companies don't know how to do that. And it's because they're not coming from that perspective.
Right.
And I say most companies, most people who are responsible for making sales, making money. Because look, hey folks, that's what business is. Your job is to go out there and make sales and make money and create customers and things like that. And that requires communicating a message to the marketplace that will make people go, hey, I'm interested in talking to you. So
yeah. So I have a bold promise with my own company, Loomis Marketing.
Okay.
It says it on my website. Loomis Marketing is dedicated to helping people and companies grow and to making the world a better place.
And then all you have to do is prove it.
Prove it.
Prove it. That's what you are there to do.
Did you actually work? Have I actually worked with companies or people, and as a result, they grew?
Yeah.
Grew as professionals or grew as companies. Did I actually make the world a better place?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody that I meet on the street or at a meeting or network, they don't know. I could say that, but I do have to prove it.
That's right. We have to prove. We come up with a promise, and then we have to come up with proof to support the promise. Okay. Now, of course, in the beginning, when you're brand new, that's tough to do. But after a while, when you've been around and you've got testimonials from people and you've got people who are coming back over and over and over again, and they're referring you to other people, you know what? Now you're gathering the proof of your promise.
Do you remember when Domino's Pizza came out?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And what was their promise?
Well, it's on my list. Okay. I keep a list of what I call my favorite branding promises. And
see, I have mental telepathy, so I can't see your list.
We notice it.
I usually, exactly. I just figured it was. So I just thought I'd bring that one up.
30 minutes or it's free. Okay. And for they had to stop doing it because too many of their drivers were getting into accidents, and it
was great while it lasted. I was on the receiving end of a lot of them, and
me too.
I almost never had to pay because we sort of wished that they were like 30. It was 35 minutes or whatever, but it wasn't. They did it. They did it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was a fantastic promise, but it became very difficult for them to live it.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is why they had to stop using that. But it's a perfect example, just like the FedEx one is. Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. Their promise is legendary product, legendary service. Are they delivering on that? I don't know, but that's their promise. It's right on their website.
Legendary.
Yeah.
It's in a legend.
That's a big
legends about this. Yeah. Wow.
That's a big promise. Okay.
It really is.
I have another client in the B2B world, and their promise is we do what nobody else will. So you see, it's like, well, what the hell is that? But then when we say, okay, one of their clients needed this one part, made, and they needed it right away, had to be delivered, and the owner of the owner of the company of the company, after it was made, he got on an airplane and he flew 2,000 miles to hand deliver this product to that client so they could have it on time at the moment that they needed it. Okay. And that's a story to support, because they're saying we do what nobody else will. Here's proof of what we will do. Okay. So okay.
I like it.
Now I know you got to go, but so here's how I want to close this. I want to say, okay, gang, here's what we want you to understand. You need to I shouldn't say you need. If you really want to separate yourself from the competition, then you need to come up with a really great branding promise. And You need to come up with the proof that's in the pudding. And next time we get together, let's talk about how to come up with the proof to help support
That's a good idea. So proof points next.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. And if you're hearing this, don't think, oh, well, our company is an exception. We really can't do that. You can make a promise about anything.
I'll tell you what, if you're listening
anything.
to this and that's what you think, I hope my clients are competing with you.
Yeah. So think about that brand promise, come up with a few options if you don't have one. And we challenge you to go to your companies as high up as people will meet with you, all the way to the CEO, and pitch it. Just what do you got to lose? You're all on the same team. If you work at a company, whatever it is, and say, hey, we say that we do this. We should make it a brand. We should really promise it.
Let's
do it.
That's our branding.
Let's do
promise.
it.
Right.
And then we'll talk next week about how to prove it.
Yes,
I like it.
That sounds like
I
fun.
like it. All right, then I will take us out. You have been listening to the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast with none other than Steve Miller, not the rock star. No.
Dang
Marketing gunslinger, Kelly's dad, also known by other names that we cannot say on the air.
You can't. No, this is a family show.
Yeah, exactly. Steve does say some of those things sometimes, but we give him a pass because
we just bleep
Steve.
it. We just bleep it out.
Exactly. And it myself, obviously, Dave Loomis, the Dave Loomis. And yeah, it's been a pleasure serving all of you. Our promise at the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast is to deliver valuable information and tools that you can use immediately.
Right now.
That's our promise. Hold us to it. And we're going to prove it. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast, the source for B2B marketing and sales insight. If you enjoyed the podcast, please be sure to subscribe and leave these old guys a 5-star rating. Check the show notes for any links and contact information. You can always contact us by going to b2bmarketingsalespodcast.com. Thank you, and keep on marketing, keep on selling.